Welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management, a weekly conversation with area leaders about how to persevere during uncertain times. Now here's your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times. Good to have you listening along this program. It's brought to you by Worth Wealth Management. Our guest today is Insurance Commissioner for the state of Kansas, Vicki Schmidt. And Vicki, I want to start, we talk about challenging times. Like myself, you've had a cancer diagnosis that has happened in the last, I think, year or so. How are you doing? Are you doing well?
I am doing fantastic. I did get my cancer diagnosis the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, so made for a little bit of a long weekend. But I was very fortunate. I was diagnosed with breast cancer through a routine mammogram, and my mammogram showed that I had a suspicious spot, and so I went through the process of having an additional mammogram, more of a spot mammogram, and then a biopsy. And all the time I was just sure that this was a huge mistake, and it wasn't, and it was small, and it was easily removed, and had some radiation treatments and finished out, got those done in the fall, and now have been cancer free, and really thankful. I received some excellent care and early diagnosis. And as I tell my staff, my job now is to be the Bob Barker of mammograms. My staff they're very young, some of them, and they go, "Who's that?" And so anyway, but I really would love to remind your listeners to get a mammogram, or encourage their loved ones to get one, because it is I think it saved my life. I know it saved my life, and I am very grateful for that. And was a routine mammogram getter before, and will continue to be.
Well, Vicki, those are the things, and I deal with it. I have a nonprofit organization called Alive to Ride, because you got to have your PSA checked as an early indicator, much like you were talking about. And the earlier you catch cancer, the earlier you can take care of it. And so that story rings so true, not only for myself, but so many others. So I'll tell the females, the women in my life, to make sure they have the mammograms. You make sure everybody on your side, the males over there, get their PSA checked. It's very important, because, you talk about challenging times. Nothing is more challenging than a health situation like that, and a phone call from your doctor telling you you have cancer.
That is so true, and it makes you put a lot of things in a different perspective. And I would have told you before May that this department just surely couldn't run without me. I mean, I'm here almost every day, except for when we're traveling for business and stuff. And and I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do if I have to take a couple weeks off? Well, the good news is I've hired a lot of great people, and people can do it without me. And the compliance officer, also known as my husband, hid my power cord to my computer a few days, and I wasn't very happy about that. But, I know he thought I needed to rest and recuperate so I could get back quicker, and he was probably right. But I hope he doesn't listen to this and hear that from me.
Having a good support staff is great, but having a spouse that says, "Hey, take care of yourself first," is really important. I have that. It sounds like you do too. Well, let's move to what the program is talking about. Not that that isn't challenging, and those things aren't challenging, but we've gone into 2024, and people are getting their insurance rates for the next year. Some of them are just getting cancellation rates, or letters where they say, "We can't insure you anymore." Are you hearing that in your office?
We take complaints, but we also take inquiries. And I know we've had individuals contact us that have had their insurance canceled, that maybe only had a couple of claims over a 40-year period of time, and then all of a sudden receive a cancellation notice. And we can't make someone insure a person. We can't make a company insure a person, but we do like to talk to them about what their options are, and help guide them through a process of locating another source for their insurance. you know, as commissioner, I don't set the rates here in the department. That is up to each individual insurance company themselves. But we do have the opportunity to review those rates when they come in, and we make sure that they actuarially justify the rate that the rate increases that they're asking for. I want to make sure that your listeners know that the profit margins are limited to a reasonable level by statute. So it's not like the insurance companies are making a huge profit from these, but we have a lot of factors, outside factors that we are not controlling that are affecting those rates. And one of it is the high inflation costs that we've seen across the board. I mean, the cost for lumber is up. I think it's still up like 15–20%. And you know, everything is rising in costs, and so are the insurance premiums. So we really encourage Kansans to take some time to shop around and to look and to make sure that you're getting the right insurance coverage for what you need and what you think you have.
Are people in your office surprised by the amount of the rate increase? Because some of the things we're seeing on our end are not so much, you know, the deductible can be low, but most of the time the price is either really high and the deductible really low, or you can reverse it around and have a crazy high deductible. That seems to be the biggest surprise that some people on our end have seen.
Yes, I think that is true. You know, it is a balancing act of, I mean, insurance is insuring risk, right? And so, you know, we've had more catastrophic events in the United States than we've ever had in 2023. You know, we have not been immune to bad weather here in Kansas, to hail and wind, and whether that's a tornado or just straight winds. So, you know, all of those things affect our coverage. The other thing is a little bit in the weeds in the insurance, but the reinsurance, the insurance companies insuring their risk, the reinsurance rates have just gone through the roof. Many of those are done across the pond in Europe, the reinsurance companies and things. And, you know, I mean, and so it's costing them more to have that insurance. And, you know, I mean, the bottom line is, we need to make sure, as a regulator, I need to make sure that the companies have the money to pay for your claim if you have a claim. I mean, that's what you pay the money for, to make sure that when an event happens, either whether that's with your automobile or your house or your property, that they can pay the claim, because it doesn't do any good to pay for the insurance premium if the money isn't there to pay the claim when you need the insurance. And I think recently we heard, like, you know, maybe 10% of the people, 10 to 15% have a claim. So the other 80 to 85 or 90 to 85% of us are paying for those claims also. So I do believe that I think we are at the peak of it, and I do. It's a cyclical industry. I believe that, you know, they talk about a hardened market, which is what we're in now, is a hardened market. But the hardened market doesn't last near as long as the soft market does when we're much more happy. So, you know, I think the prediction is that by 2025, you know, we're going to be in a much better looking situation.
I don't know if you had a chance to just, AP just released this, but the headline was Surging Auto Insurance Rates Squeeze Drivers and Fuel Inflation. And, you know, that's what people are feeling. And in many cases, you know, that your department has to make sure that the insurance companies are real and they are insuring you. The other part is like, wow, the price. I wish you could affect the price. That'd be great.
Oh, I do too. But you know, you look at the cost of look at all of the safety features in a car now, that and all of the cameras that make, you know, that warn you when somebody's on when you're getting ready to make a lane change and somebody's over in the lane. All of the safety features and things. You know, the cars are so expensive to repair now. I mean, cars are expensive to buy, and they're expensive to repair. I mean, we went on a tour of a body shop recently, and we saw a $6,000 headlight. One headlight was $6,000, and the apparatus, because it has electronic things in it, and it automatically brightens, it sends the bright lights on in certain things, and it takes it off when a car is approaching from a certain distance. And, all of these things, I mean, they're fantastic. And I don't think anybody wants to take away the safety features of a car. I mean, our fatalities have gone down, in general, over a course of many years. But, all of those safety features cost money, and every one of them are costly to repair. So, and I would, I just think it's important also not to be underinsured.
One of the things when you have a claim and somebody has a question, what's the best way to find your office and find you and say, this just doesn't seem right? I paid insurance for 40 years and now they're coming out and they're saying, I'm not going to insure you anymore. How do they get hold of you? What's the best thing to do?
Sure, you can call us at 800-4, I'll start over, 800-432-2484, or you can contact us by email at kdoi.complaints@ks.gov. You can Google us, Kansas Insurance Department, and I hope we pop up first, but it's insurance.kansas.gov. And we have all of the information there on how to file a complaint. You can call us. I want to stress that we don't only take complaints, but we also take inquiries. So if you have a question about what your insurance is covering or what it's not covering, and what you're being told, or what they're offering to you as part of a replacement cost, whether that be on a household item that's or a house or a car or whatever. I mean, we take inquiries as well as complaints, and consumer assistance is just a huge part of our department. And last year we returned over $16 million back to Kansans through this process, and when we have intervened in a case, and that money goes right back into the pockets of Kansas citizens. And we really want to make sure that if you have a benefit that you are not receiving, we want to make sure you get it. And that could even be like a life insurance benefit that we can help you find, or if you were owed something from an auto or a home or a health insurance claim. We also do health insurance claims. So, I might be the only public official that ever has been on your show that has made this statement, but I want your complaints. I want to hear about the things that aren't going right in the industry, and we want to be able to help you. Nothing is worse than to talk to a consumer that says, oh, I've been battling this for 6 months, and I finally decided to give you a call. Please don't do that. Let us help you. Let us step in. We don't always get the answers that I would like, but I can guarantee you we will get you an answer. And many times you get caught in kind of a cycle of, we'll get back to you, and then you have another question, we'll get back to you, and we can kind of cut through that minutia for you and get to where you get the answer that you need.
Well, Vicki, you're right on that complaint thing, because I think even yes, individuals one thing, but small businesses right now are fighting so hard, and with insurance rates going up, the price of vehicles are going up as well. All of that cuts into, so anything that you can help with in your department is going to help us be able to do that. I want to go down another list of questions, but I want to take a break first. The severe weather season is coming up. It may already be here in a couple of days. So if that's coming up, that means there may be some insurance claims. I want to talk to you a little bit about what somebody who has damage, what they should do first after their home or cars are damaged. Back with more with our insurance commissioner for the state of Kansas, Vicki Schmidt. We'll be back after this.
The most successful investors are those that can keep their emotions in check and take a longer-term view at what portfolios will be worth 3 to 5 years down the road. I'd say that's the most important in determining what investor outcomes are. Market corrections will continue in the future. We've seen many of them over the years, only to see equity prices rise higher, and that'll be the case in the future.
Worth Wealth Management, enhancing lives and strengthening families.
Welcome back to Forward Ever. Leading in challenging times, insurance can be challenging and is challenging for both individuals and businesses. Vicki Schmidt, the insurance commissioner for the state of Kansas, is our guest today on Forward Ever. We went into the break, Vicki, talking about what's next. Well, severe weather coming your way. In fact, I think there's some forecasts this weekend, and that means everything from hail, damaging winds, all those sort of things. If you have damage, what is the first thing a consumer, a business should do?
Well, let me start by saying Kansans are no stranger to severe weather. We encourage everyone to make sure that you're staying current on your coverage so that you do have coverage when an incident happens. If you've not talked to your agent or you've not reviewed your agent with your agent the coverages that you have, now is the time to do so before we get into the really bad weather season. Inflation and costs have increased, and construction materials have increased in costs, and so home additions and if you've had some renovation in your house, your coverage may not be where you want it to be. You may be underinsured. You may have inadequate coverage, and we don't want you to wait until we have golf ball size hail before you go, oh wow, I forgot to tell my agent about that addition I put on the back of my house, and then you find out you're underinsured. So we encourage you to at least once a year check with your insurance agent about the coverage that you have. I think it's also really important to your listeners that they know what their policy will cover, because not all policies cover things like water and windstorm damage or debris and tree removal, severe backup if you have a flood in your house, if your sump pump fails, or even additional living expenses if you have to move out of your home. So make sure that you have the coverage that you think you have, and some of those things are riders on your policy, and make sure that we have those. But it's really important to talk to your agent. Now, if you do have a storm come through and let's say partially damage a house, take off a part of the roof or some of the siding or things like that. If you can see daylight, it is best that you try to tarp the area if you can, or have someone help you tarp the area to stop the water damage from coming in. You don't want more mold and mildew in the house. We like to kind of cover that area, and that is what you're supposed to do if you have a water damage, or if you
Don't just make the mess bigger.
don't make it bigger and don't make it harder to clean up, because I'll tell you, you do not want the mold and mildew issues, because that's a really big, expensive problem, and it's just sometimes you have to move out of the home when that happens, and while the mitigation is happening. So we really need you to help everybody out by doing that. Another thing before the storm hits is to keep a list of your personal property. If you have a disaster, and let's say a tornado runs through and destroys your home and all of your personal belongings, just try to think about the last thing you want to do in that instance is to try to remember everything that you have in your house, every picture frame, every computer, everything that you have in your house, all the bowls you had, how many mixers did you have, all those things. So we have a list on our website. It's a personal home inventory guide, and you can download it from our website, or we can send you a copy if you contact us. I know there are several free apps on phones that allow you to keep track of to allow you to go through there. We have people that go through room by room and take pictures on their phone. That's if your phone survives the storm. That's always good, or if it's uploaded to somewhere else. But anyway, but we recommend, if you do make a paper list, that you put that in a safe place, like a fireproof box or a safe deposit box. I will say it is a little bit of a chore to do that. But if you talk to people that have had to go back and try to remember what they have, this is a much better way to do it. We do have more information also on our website about homeowner coverage under our home and renters insurance page on our website. And I just say, should you need to file a claim this season or any season, we also have the homeowners claim settlement guide online that you can use as well. But even with all of that, pick up the phone and call us, send us an email, and we will walk you through this. We don't usually hear from people the day after a storm. It's usually about a week or so later when people are, after they're, quite frankly, sometimes after the shock has passed. And we have been known, when the Andover tornado hit a couple of years ago, we actually sent a team down, I think 3 different times to help people. It's hard to go online if your computer was destroyed in a flood or in a tornado. So, we send people down to help when we know about an area that's been hit. But, I think there are things you can do ahead of time to make sure you're prepared. And then afterwards, I want you to know we'll walk side by side with them to make sure that we're still working on some things with the Andover tornado, and that's almost 2 years. 2 years ago that it hit. But, these things are complicated processes.
I know they are. And you made one comment earlier about contacting your insurance agent. You can go to your file and, bless you, you can go to your file and look at your insurance policy. That is hard. I mean, so call your agent, have your agent help walk you through and ask those questions. Is this covered? Is this covered? And maybe a good question to ask your agent is what's not covered. And that way they can do that, because boy, you get in that insurance policy and you can read that 10 times and even if you think you can understand it, ask your agent, because there's some value in doing that. So one last question, Vicki.
Sure.
You've been an insurance commissioner since 2019, right?
Yes.
You were also in the state Senate. Is there anything next for you, or are you going to be insurance commissioner forever?
That's a great question. I'm going to get out my little crystal ball and tell you what's going to happen. I really like my job. I would tell you that the first couple of months on this job, I wondered if this was the right fit for me. It was kind of like buying a house and thinking you need to recarpet or paint the walls, and then to find out you need to rewire the home and build a new kitchen. So, after settling into this job, I really like my job, and I am busy doing my job now. We've made a lot of improvements just for process wise here at the department. We now communicate a lot more via email. We're saving over $25,000 a year just in postage. Sorry to the USPS people, but we can communicate via email and we do a lot of things like that. But anyway, we've made a lot of changes. I've got some things I'd still like to accomplish here, and so I'm pretty happy right where I am. And I love helping people. This is a great fit for me, and being able to help people every day and to have some successes and to really make a difference in someone's life. And I really like that part of my job.
Vicki, thanks for taking time out of the day here to join us and talk about the insurance and the challenges out there. If something comes up and we can help you tell your story of what you're trying to do, we'd be happy to do that, and look forward to talking to you the next time.
Thank you so much, Gary. It's been a pleasure.
Our guest today is Vicki Schmidt, the Insurance Commissioner for the state of Kansas. Thanks for listening, and thanks to our sponsor, Worth Wealth Management, where you can live with confidence. I'm Gary Shorman.
Thanks for joining us for Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management. Join us right here next week for another episode with host Gary Shorman. Until then, remember to move forward ever, backward never.